Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 1995 Chevy S10. Up front is a 4.3 liter V6 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. And if you want to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive where I'll be writing a complete article about the Chevy S10. But let's get back to that 4.3 liter V6. Now this is the larger engine that actually came in the S10. You could get a 4-cylinder or you could get a 6-cylinder, and like I said, this is the 6-cylinder. Now we will be talking about the 4-cylinder towards the end of the video, but right now let's talk about what we actually have in the truck. The 4.3 liter puts out about 155 horsepower and 230 pound-feet of torque, which actually isn't a whole lot in terms of horsepower, but the torque is really what you want, and we'll get more into that when we compare the 6-cylinder to the 4-cylinder towards the end of the video. All right, we barely hit the speed limit there. One thing about this V6 is that it's actually a pretty low revving V6. Its red line is at 4,500 RPM and it's not a diesel. And that's really to help out with that torque. It keeps you in that sort of torque range because up above 4,500, you're not gonna be making out any more torque and you're really just gonna be stressing the engine out. And then like I said, paired to it, automatic transmission. It is shifted on the column behind the steering wheel. Nothing too crazy there, nothing too impressive. I haven't noticed anything extremely glitchy about it yet, but it is an automatic. The truck doesn't have great pickup. Like I said, it really only has 155 horsepower, and it's not the lightest thing in the world. But that being said, it can get out of its own way, and it has that torque, so it definitely is a lot more fun, I would say, than the 4-cylinder. And last but not least, this truck is 4-wheel drive. It has a vacuum-operated 4-wheel drive system. So up on the dash, when we talk about the interior, that's where your 4-wheel drive switches are, and you can switch it back and forth and whatnot. One last thing about the drivetrain is that this is not lifted, but the torsion keys are cranked up. So some Chevys have adjustable suspension from the factory. If you get some specialized tools, you can actually crank up and get a little bit extra ride height. It's not comparable to a lift kit, but you can get a little bit of extra ride height out of the stock suspension, which is definitely a nice feature and definitely helps out because this truck is on mud tires as opposed to the factory tires that it comes with. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have very, very plain gauges. I wouldn't be surprised if they were just lifted from another Chevy product of the 90s. Very basic, but they're very clean, very simple, and very easy to read. I think a lot of modern gauges they're too cluttered. They're trying to wow you, and this really just, it tells you what you need to know. To the left, I love that you could still kind of see some 80s attributes, and that is these giant parking light buttons, which the parking lights were added for 1995. Cool little feature. So it's the first year for the parking lights. But they're these giant buttons, almost comically large. And I think they're really funny, but you know exactly what they do. You don't have to guess around about that. To the right, like I said earlier, I have those 4-wheel drive controls. So I have 2 high, 4 low, and 4 high. Then down below the 4-wheel drive settings, you have your radio, which has since been switched out from whatever 90s garbage came in it. And then to the right, you have your heating and air conditioning controls. Very tactile. If you're someone who really enjoys and requires tactile buttons, I mean big, easy to hit buttons that have good feedback, this is definitely a truck for you. The buttons are very hard to miss. They're very tactile, and I kind of like that. I like how it gives you the confidence to keep your eyes on the road and you can really feel what you're doing. Then down below all that, you have a cigarette lighter. Just one single cigarette lighter chilling. To the right is pretty interesting. The glove box is kind of inverted to how you would think it would work. It's kind of an interesting design, and it has a vent on the glove box, which is really, really weird. But that being said, the glove box is recessed into the dash, so the passenger, however tall he or she may be, will have a lot of leg room, which is nice. Speaking of seats, I have 2 cup holders down here, and then the back has jump seats. So as you can see behind me, it doesn't appear that there are seats back there, but there are these 2 little folding jump seats. that sort of pop out of the wall. So they're really, if you need them seats. I've never ever ridden in a jump seat truck. I've never been in a jump seat until now. So we'll go to the back seat review upon request of the owner, Jackson, which thank you, Jackson, for letting me do this review. I shall now try to squeeze into the jump seats. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out how to get into the back here. All right, okay, so here we go. Getting in. All right. Oh, God. Okay, so we're in the back here. Oh, God. Let me just sort of. All right. So if I can move. All right. So I'm in the jump seat. And as you can tell, I'll leave this down so you can see me. As you can tell, you sit this way. So if you're going to have someone in the jump seat across from you, you're going to be staring at each other for the duration of the ride. Not comfortable. Not comfortable at all. And I seem to get a lap belt. I'll show it over here. I doubt you can see that. So if that's like that, which that's scooted all the way up, I'm jammed in here like a sardine. It's not comfortable, but they're there if you need it. That is helpful. If you have a child, it'll work. This is no way to carry a human, I tell you that much. So overall, this is a pretty well-performing mini truck. The 90s were really a good time for mini trucks. There was almost every manufacturer was making a mini truck. It's sort of like the SUV wave nowadays, where literally every single car manufacturer is making some form of SUV. Almost all car manufacturers had some type of mini truck. You had the Ford Ranger, obviously the Chevy S10, Nissan Hardbody. They had the Toyota Tacoma, the Mazda B2200, Dodge Dakota. A lot of these manufacturers had little trucks, and I understand why. They're great because you can park them. They're not full-size trucks, so you don't have to plan out your parking before you even leave home. But they still have that capacity of towing stuff around or hauling stuff. Now, as I mentioned that, let's talk about hauling and stuff, because I want to get back to talking about the V6 versus the inline 4. So the inline 4 actually makes 110 horsepower. This is 155, like I said, with the V6, and that's not that big of a difference. But the inline 4 put out 130 foot-pounds of torque, and this puts out 230 foot-pounds of torque. And that's where you really see the difference. If you're looking to tow something, if you're looking to haul big loads, then the V6 is something you should look into. But if you want something for just hauling a lawnmower, maybe some car fenders, maybe some garden equipment, the inline 4 is perfect for you because it's reliable, it's cheap, and it gets really good gas mileage. It has all of the benefits of a 4-cylinder. Yeah, you're going to lack that power. You're going to lack the towing power for sure. But if you don't need that, if you don't need to haul a car, if you don't need to pull over 1,000 pounds, then the 4-cylinder is really a good option. And I think that's what really helped the S10 make its way into the market, is that it had this small, fuel-efficient, yet durable inline 4. Now, I'm not complaining that I'm driving the V6 right now. Obviously, you feel that power increase. But if you were sitting there watching this video thinking, I want to buy a 90s S10, I wouldn't look past the inline 4. Now, I don't know what you need it for, and if you need it to haul a car, but you don't have that much space, by all means, look into the V6 for sure. I'm not sure that it's 100% necessary in a truck like this. Now, going back to what I said about that 4-cylinder engine, I said that it was cheap. And the reason I said that is because, well, it has 2 less cylinders than the V6, and that means you only have to buy 4 pistons. You know, a rebuild kit, you're only going to have 1 head gasket. You're only going to have 4 spark plugs instead of 6. You know, everything gets cut down by 50% when you only have 4 cylinders as opposed to the 6. But also, this truck as a whole is pretty easy to maintain. Chevy made so many of them that you can go to any junkyard and you're going to find fenders. You're going to find seats. You're going to find almost any body part you need for the S10 you can buy aftermarket. As well as, because there are so many of them, because they're so cheap, they gained a big following. You know, a lot of people make these into lowriders, and they're sweet. A lot of people lift these things and off-road them, and they're sweet. And so really, the S10s have a good community. So no matter where you are, there's probably a good chance that you can source Chevy S10 parts. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the 1995 Chevy S10. They're great little trucks if you're looking to haul something not that big or just need something to get pieces of wood around town or what have you. The S10 is definitely a good option. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. All right, I don't know how to get out of here. Just gonna maybe take a knee, and then I'm gonna fold the seat back up into its compartment. Nice folding seats. And then I'm gonna, oh God, ow, oh my God, oh. Oh. There goes a sight from my soul.